This one simple strategy, I don't care if you're an absolute novice in your industry, I don't care if you're brand new in your town, you just take what we're going to talk about here, this one strategy, it'll make you not only feel incredible. Who comes to mind that they are like magnetic personalities? Like who in Hollywood that would come to mind? Like their personalities are so magnetic, everything they touch turns to gold, energetic. Will Smith is a great guy. George Clooney. Who else? Tom Hanks. Who else? Oprah. Yeah, Spielberg. Okay. What I want you to all do is create your own magic moments on any given day. It could be random people. And you get in the habit of doing this, you're going to make other people feel special, but you're going to feel special. You're going to have this momentum thing. So let me give you a couple of ideas on what I'm talking about here. Now, I talked about Charlie Tremendous Jones. So this was a card that I recently sent, as well as an email. Charlie, I'm glad you were able to whisper to me because he lost his voice when we spoke on the phone. I just want you to know, out of all the people I've ever met, you have one of the most amazing outlooks in life. I am proud to call you a friend. So in the last, this morning, I just fired off another email to him because I know he's probably got days left, but just to tell him how much of an inspiration. I mean, he's like the guy that to me is, if you ever have a chance to go get his books on the way how he's lived his life, even in his dying days, it is the most awe-inspiring thing I've ever seen. I'm going to show you a video just a second because I just want to show you this guy's attitude on life is just unbelievable. So I hope I can find it. And his name is Charlie Tremendous Jones. Okay, here it is. So if you can replicate this person's attitude on life, I guarantee you amazing things will happen for you.
Public speaker, and he lives in Mechanicsburg. Charlie Tremendous Jones has wowed audiences for 5 decades. Cancer will soon silence him, but in true tremendous fashion, he's not going quietly. Though the illness has taken the quality of his voice, it can't touch the quality of his message.
Because the secret of success is learning to be thankful.
Hearing Charlie Tremendous Jones' message of thankfulness is nothing new. Hearing it in hushed tones is. That's the cancer talking. But this is the Charlie millions around the world know and love.
Success is not reaching the top. Success is how high do you bounce when you hit the bottom.
Since 1950, Charlie's motivated and inspired. He's had a tremendous influence on presidents and governors. He's counseled religious leaders, political leaders, and sports teams. Mickey Mantle gave personal thanks.
Over the years, with books and tapes and seminars, Charles has spoke. Well, his message has reached millions. Charlie would be the Michael Jordan of the Speakers Network.
Speaking is his profession, but reading is his passion, especially about Lincoln and Patton. He has several libraries in his house and has funded 3 others, including here at Central Penn College in Enola. He's sold millions of books and given millions more away. Few can keep up with this Jones. But doctors say he has but weeks to live. A tumor on his lung is inoperable, but he is not at all sad.
I've had 81 fantastic years. And some people live their lives according to the calendar. I live my life according to experiences. So I think I'm about 1,800 years old. And I'm tired. I gotta get out of here.
Perhaps it's a testament to his motivational ability, but I didn't feel sad talking to a man who has just weeks to live. He continues to be uplifting. Charlie and his wife Gloria have been married for 60 years. They have 6 children, and we wish the family.
And so every time I've ever been around him, sorry. Okay, back to the magic moments. Let's see, play. Anyway, he's such an amazing personality, the energy, the little things just on how he lives his life. So let me just give you a couple ideas. Okay, how many of you ever thank a bathroom attendant at an airport who's keeping a 24-hour I do it all the time because very few people ever say thank you to that person. Again, it doesn't take much. You just compliment them, and it makes their day. I want you to do yourself a favor sometime. I want you to call Tony Robbins' corporate office. This is the single greatest receptionist I've ever heard in my life. And you tell her Larry Benet, the connector, told you to call. Let's see. Well, I tell you what, just go look online for Tony Robbins' corporate number. But literally every time I talk to her, she is so energetic, so enthusiastic. It is amazing. I say, man, you are unbelievable. You should give receptionist training around the world because she's amazing. She truly is amazing. And anyway, so that's just another simple example. Is Bob Donnell in the house? Okay, he'll be here later. He's an amazing guy too. We were having lunch after I gave a speech in Temecula, California, which is, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half from here or something. There was no one in this restaurant, and it was a nice restaurant, and I felt so bad for the owner. I'm like, oh my God, if she keeps on going this way, she's gonna be out of business. So we're walking out, and I walk back in, and I gave her the best 4 minutes I possibly could because in the time that I had on what she needed to go do immediately to turn that business around. It only took 4 minutes, but it made her day, and I hope she follows up on some of the ideas and principles. But again, it's just something simple, creating a magic moment for someone else. The Westin right down the road, okay? I was giving a speech for, I think, Harv Eker, one of his big events, and I was running late, and this amazing guy, Robert, the bellman, he's been there for 19 years, and he's just the most amazing person. So he was so good to me. I said, you need to literally be teaching customer service to the entire Westin hotel chain and service throughout the hotel industry. You need to be managing, not just being a bellman. He goes, no, Mr. Larry, I'm comfortable. This is, I like doing this. I love my job. I wrote a letter, personal, handwritten note, not only to him, but to the guy that the whole chairman, and the thing went right back down to, and the next time I walked into the hotel, he came up to me, goes, Mr. Larry, I am so appreciative that you took the time. So it did take a little bit of my time, but did I create a magic moment in his life? And every time now I walk into the Westin, I'm not asking for anything, but he just treats me a little nicer, but he's such an amazing person. So here's what I want you to do for the next 3 days, okay? And the magic moments, we're going to do a quick exercise. So it could be a little thing, just commenting on someone's pin or their smile, but you need to be authentic about it. Not just don't go around saying if you don't like their clothes or something, okay? But I want you 3 people a day. 3 people a day, while at least we're here, because that'll give you a little practice to create magical moments for the people, whether it's here or at lunch or at dinner. Because when you're in here, I'm going to give you the tools and the systems. When you're out there, you're going to practice kind of what you learned in here. Is that fair? Or is there anyone else that's got any good ideas just to create quick magical moments for other people? Smile. Go ahead.
I always tell whoever's helping me that they should, that they deserve a raise, and to tell the boss Betty said so.
Okay.
And that Betty carries a lot of weight.
So Betty carries a lot of weight, and if they're doing a good job, they need a raise from their boss. And John, go ahead. If you can pass that back to John.
I have to deal with service people a lot on the phone back in, New York, et cetera. I'm a financial advisor. And the biggest one that I use is say, I'd like to thank you for all your effort on getting this problem solved. And I swear when I do it, it's like no one ever tells them thank you for their effort, that they're just paper pushers otherwise. And usually I strike up conversations in, so.
Good. All right, very cool. Go ahead. Go ahead, Adrian. Okay. I'm just trying to make equal time.
When I'm on the phone with somebody, I actually talk to them like a person. And when you're calling different agencies, people don't talk to them like people. And then the thing I do is we usually wind up laughing about something. And they always say, thank you so much for making me laugh today. That was great.
Something simple. Great. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead.
This is related to treating people like they're people, especially living in New York City. I say thank you all the time, just at a cafe. But I have to stop sometimes and remind myself to actually make eye contact when I'm saying thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not done enough.
We did an exercise at my last event, which Sparse Street is a famous artist led, which was basically looking into someone's eyes. I think it was for a minute or something like that, because most people will look away after just a few seconds. So when you have that genuine eye contact, I normally when I meet someone, I'm looking right at their eyes, because that's the windows of their soul. So that's a very great idea. So thank you, Claudine, for sharing. And here's a book, Rising to the Top. from Jim Rohn and June Davidson. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead. Who else? Magic moments. Go ahead.
I have a client that their receptionist just got married recently, and she got me in the door initially. And
Okay.
when she was getting married, I found these very cute Tasmanian devil bride and groom. And I just sent it in a very nice shopping bag, and I said, I hope you have a marriage worth of mischief and fun. And she keeps it on her desk, and she says it cracks her up all the time. So it's just and what did it cost me? Like $12. So for a very small amount, you can make a very big impression.
Awesome.
And especially to highlight a milestone in somebody's life, either the birth of a child, something. If you can be supportive in that, you really leave an impact.
Awesome. Go ahead. One last one, Ruby, just because we're running short on time. I'll get you two.
Something that I really like to do for total strangers, and that is, nowadays I'm on the phone a lot, calling Southwest, calling reservations or customer service or anything. I always ask them what their name is. So when they get on the phone, they often say, the name, but I think so I always ask them what their name is and ask them how they are today, how their day has been before I make my request of what I want to do. So I really notice it totally shifts them. And then I also live in the Bay Area, so I'm crossing bridges all the time. So I really actually like to just stop and say thank you when I'm handing my $5 or $4 to that person.
You could also throw 50 cents to the back person right behind you. And so when you're on the tolls. All right, last one. And if you can just pass it around. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Nina. I wanted to comment about eye contact because I'm African, and in my country, you look at people. But when I spent time in Japan, I was amazed because the Japanese people don't like you to take a look in the eyes. So over there, I was trying to find the Japanese person, and they were avoiding me. Konnichiwa. So therefore, as far as eye contact is concerned, you also have to respect the culture, But I do love to give eye contact. I did want to say something. Please, can we all send light to that gentleman who's dying? Because he will feel it if we send it to him.
Okay.
And he'll feel the joy that we can just send to him, just thinking about him and knowing that he's transitioning to a better place and he gives so much for us.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will send him that email. Okay. All right. So, all right, I've got some pretty cool ideas. I'm just going to blow through these just to give you guys some ideas so you can get to the people that you want. And by the way, just who is the person that is taking the notes, just so I know that. Okay, cool. Thanks. All right, so a lot of email. It's harder and harder to break through the clutter of these overloaded inboxes. So just a couple of simple ideas. Are any of you using like video email to break through clutter? So like one or two of you. With the age of YouTube, you can easily create a video, and a lot of the computers, obviously, like my Apple here, actually has a little video thing which you can use. Here's another one, Audio is Made Simple or Connect with Video. So these are just services. And what you could do is you can create an audio postcard, okay? So maybe you're trying to get to a producer or a director. Hey, thanks for whatever. I look forward to maybe having a call back with you. And you're just leaving a message that actually will automatically play. And you go to audiomadesimple.com, and then connectwithvideo.com is just another video type service. So audio postcards. Okay. So now we're going to talk a little about some email, and we already talked about the voicemail stuff. I'm just going to rapidly go through some better ideas to help you get better responses to email. Go ahead.
One more thing, I think it was Janet, send out cards?
Yes, we're going to actually talk about send out cards. I'll show you some of the creative greeting cards that we send out. And if any of you guys want, at that appropriate time, we'll allow you to have like a free trial on. And I'll have Janet Ostrov. Where's Janet, by the way? Oh, there she is. And Janet on my team will walk you through, or we'll do a webinar or something, literally to go down. But I'll show you some quick things. So first of all, we talked about you getting a lot of voicemails. A lot of voicemails and emails. So again, you just got to stay focused to the point. Think about less is more. So one of the big mistakes is, hey, can I get an hour of your time? It's much easier to ask for 5 minutes than it is for a busy person to grant an hour, okay? So less is more. Everyone's time is valuable. What's in it for them to want to give you that time, okay? Just because you call and you think you've got this wonderful widget or whatever, think about the other person on the phone and how busy they are, how many, the higher up the food chain you go, the more what'd you say, 250 voicemails a day to the CIO of? Oh, emails, yeah. But still, there's a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. Exactly. Yeah, I'm doing that intentionally. So I appreciate you guys pointing it out. The good news is you guys are paying attention. So I like that. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to add something because I get a lot of voicemails too. And
Yeah.
I noticed that the people that are persistent and call me back and call me and call me. Sometimes I won't, I hate to say it, but I won't, call someone back unless they've called like 4 or 5 times. I'm like,
Well,
person again, but it just sticks in my head.
The reality is it normally will take 7 touches or 7 contacts. Isn't that true, Ken? The number statistically? 7 to 10 or 7 to 11 before it even starts to register. It's kind of like, have any of you guys ever gotten, Tempur-Pedic in the mail? If you ever raise your hand for Tempur-Pedic, you're going to get something in the mail like every few weeks for like 18 months to 24 months. Where the average bedding company, they'll drop something once and that's about it. But they stay on you like white on rice. And so yeah, the people that are more persistent end up getting the return phone calls.
Along that line, sometimes I feel like I'm being too persistent, and so I'll stop calling.
By the way,
I don't want to bug them.
But on the other hand, I've had clients tell me, gee, Stephen, I'm glad you called me. I'm glad you stayed on top of it because I've been so busy. I wanted to get a hold of you. I couldn't get back to you.
I think there's a big difference, there's a fine line between persistent and being a pest. Once you cross over to pest category, you ain't coming back. Because that person's, I don't even want to talk to that guy. Yeah. That's where we're going to teach you the subtleties of when you're going from persistent to pest. Add value every single time. If you're calling Mr. CEO of AutoNation, where's Mike? Is he still in the room? Doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. So every single time, drop a nugget of some possible piece of value in the mail, in his inbox, phone, through the executive assistant, to a senior executive. I'm going to show you a strategy, and you'll probably be in. Go ahead.
A different piece every time?
Yeah, it could be a different piece. And, Ken Varga is a master at this, so he's going to show you a little bit later tomorrow some of the pieces. But we're going to show you multiple people, multiple ways of thinking on how to deliver this value on an ongoing basis. Go ahead.
Larry, are you going to also go through the different strategies as would you go through different strategies, 7 to 10 different touches that you say?
Yes.
How to mix and match those
Yes.
touches?
And when you guys leave, you're going to have your own plan for your top profile clients, and you're going to know on Monday how you're going to do it, who they are, how you're going to attack them, phone, email, whatever, through all the strategies we're going to do. Is that good? That be helpful? Okay. Again, gain credibility fast. A lot of times I've noticed when I've met someone that's a high famous or high profile person, and I drop that person, someone else is like a mutual friend. And when I met Larry King, I said, hey, we have a mutual friend in Asher Dan. You and I were supposed to get together when I chaired the Relief Project. And by the way, I'd love, if there's a way that I can help you raise money for your charity, I would love to be able to do that. Oh, okay, well, next time you're out in LA, let's go do breakfast. Well, I wasn't even planning on being in LA because I was in Vegas, but if he was offering breakfast, I was flying to LA. Again, common interest, or again, credible. If there's a credible organization. So if you work for, or if you've worked for a corporation, or if you've got a client like a UPS, for example, something that's credible. Again, common interest, fishing, or what have you. I just met Ron LeGrand. Any know who Ron LeGrand is? He is big time into fishing, and I knew that because he brings all his clients out to Alaska and stuff. And the first time I literally had a chance to have a normal conversation with him, that's the first thing I said. So I was like, tell me about the fishing. But you can leverage that same concept on the phone. Again, from an email perspective, how many of you put a lot of time and thought into your subject headlines? One of the biggest mistakes is people just like randomly put a headline in, and then they have 200 other emails they're looking at, and normally the first thing you're looking at on the left is who's it coming from. That's the number one determinant whether an email gets opened, by the way. Is there a relationship with that person? Then the second thing is going to be the subject. And is the subject going to hook them enough for them to want to respond back? Okay? And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples in a few seconds on actual emails so you can kind of get these things open. Okay? All right, here's some good subjects. And then I want you guys to write your own subject for your prospect, your perfect prospect. So, valuable connection for you, ... Thought of you when I read this, ... And actually, put their first name in. Statistics tell you when it's a first name, even though you know the person, they're going to open up when it says, Larry, valuable connection for you, ... Larry, I blogged about you yesterday, ... thought you would appreciate this. Now, here's something I just learned from one of the top copywriters, a guy named Frank Kern, who's a very savvy internet marketer. Like negative stuff, because normally a lot of things are like overly positive, so he goes the opposite approach and goes negative. Okay, sorry. So bad news, okay? Bad news, dot, dot, dot. Here's some other good subjects. We've got the note takers and everything else. We'll get it all down. Okay, valuable connection for you. I tell you what, we'll send these to you. You'll have them. Was that okay? I promise. Okay. I just want to move on, and we'll get you everything you need. How does bad news work? It's to get someone's attention. Now, here's the thing. What I don't want you to do is don't be like the National Enquirer, like with an exaggerated kind of thing, where like someone leaves a voice message just to get you to return a call and then has absolutely nothing to do. Like, for example, I was at a big networking conference with some of the big real estate investment gurus, okay? So this guy leverages a guy that I know's name. He called me 4 times in one day and was very, like, didn't say anything really. And it was getting on my nerves. So I decided to call the guy because it was just calling like every hour on the hour. And if I don't get you, I'll call you back. But there was a right way and a wrong way. I think he ended up taking the wrong way. I would have much preferred him to be very on money on why. So when I finally called him back on what he wanted, it was so in left field for me, I felt it was like a waste of my time. So he's never going to get a return phone call from me ever again. But go ahead.
What's that strategy, this? What was that about? We had one that said this.
Oh, yeah. So what happened is I was doing this at 3:30 in the morning for you and thought you would appreciate this to see if you were paying attention at 12:30 in the afternoon. But it was a run-on. Thought you would appreciate this, dot, 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 was actually one sentence. But you are good for patching that, though. Thank you. By the way, you asked how I can need some help. I need help on, I am not very strong on my keynotes and all the PowerPoints, so if someone's really good at that, let me know. Okay, so I think we've covered this. Let's see. Oh, yeah, these are new. When I saw this, I immediately thought of you, dot, dot, dot. When I saw you, excuse me, when I saw this, I immediately thought of you, dot, dot, dot. Were you aware your competitor was doing this, dot, dot, dot. Again, these are just things that either I've used or someone's actually sent me. By the way, one of the ways of coming up with good headlines, if you're on different people's newsletter lists, or go to like johncarlton.com, who's a famous copywriter, or Ray Edwards, who's a copywriter, or Chris Haddad, H-A-A-D-A-D, Chris Haddad. And just go to their websites, get on their newsletter list, and just watch the or Jay Abraham. Some of these guys are just amazing copywriters, and watch the headlines that are coming across. Many people think spam, and I look at that stuff because these people pay big bucks to try to get their emails open, and so normally there's top high-priced copywriters involved to figure this stuff out. So Dan Kennedy, phenomenal. So here's the best one I found yet. On voicemail, this is normally work. Now again, I will not pull it out just for the sake of pulling it out. Normally there's a series of steps, but this has gotten almost 100% for me over the years. I spoke to God this morning. Why can't I speak with you? So, Mr. Jackson, I know you got a big Fortune 500, AutoNation thing, and you're looking to drive $1 million of growth, but I spoke to God this morning. I don't understand why I can't speak to you. That has actually worked. And my friend, as a matter of fact, my Kurt DeWitt, who's a very successful tech executive, my old roommate from years ago, the last time he heard me, he was up on my blog, and he actually used it the next day, and he got some big executive to call him back. So, okay.
Is that on voicemail, or is it?
That, normally I've left that on voicemail, but I've also left it on email too. Again, you got to figure out when to mix and match and when it's appropriate and when it's not. Okay?
Does that something like that require a little bit of rapport already?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to do things out of context. Remember I said earlier, I could give you the right thing to say, and if you don't even have rapport with the person, it's like, huh? Right? To go up to someone you don't even know and say, hey, what's the most important project you're working on in case I can... It might just like come out of left field, like, whoa, what's this guy after? So that's what I'm saying. You have to have the rapport and kind of follow that kind of stuff. So, okay. Just want to see if there's anything else. Okay, so we're good. All right, now I'm going to show you some simple ideas. You can borrow these ideas. I'm going to give you the resource where to get the ideas, and this stuff works. okay? Show you how to connect in the mail. I sent a coconut. Now, keep in mind, sometimes less is more. So 4 or 5 years ago, I was reaching out to the owners of the NFL. One thing they have in common, if you own an NFL team, you tend to have a lot of money, and you're also heavily guarded by a lot of administrative assistants. And I was going after the owners of all the casinos in America, as well as the CEOs of the biggest retailers in America. So I needed some heavy artillery to get in the door because I had no existing relationship with some of these people. So what we did is we put the sales letter inside the coconut, on the outside of the coconut with a little sticky note that said, "You have to be nuts not to take me up on this idea." Now, I don't know about you, I actually had the owner of the New York Giants sent me a handwritten note telling me he got the coconut, was appreciative, it wasn't the right time, but they would keep me in mind. The Cleveland Browns, the owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm just saying, I'm going to show you the exact steps that we used, okay? This is what you would call three-dimensional mail, okay? And again, Ken Varg will probably talk a little bit about this tomorrow as well. You can get some of this stuff at Lumpy Mail. Let me give you the personal contact. My friend John Goldman started a company called Lumpy Mail, and you can email. You'll probably get a better rate or something if you use my name. And just send an email to J. Goldman, J, the letter, Goldman, at brandlauncher.com, but you can go to lumpymail.com and just purchase the products off his website. Now, here's some other ideas. What was too fast? Oh, so just go to lumpymail.com. I tell you, just go to lumpymail.com, because here's the thing. He's the CEO of the company, so unless you're doing something big, probably best not to bother him. If you're doing something big, go email him, but if not, just go to lumpymail.com and you can process whatever you want to purchase or whatever, okay? So, connecting in the mail, this blew me away. We sent bank deposit bags with fake $1 million bills. You see those $1 million bills? Now, this blew me away. I was going after the bank executives of the biggest banks and the regional banks. Can you imagine? I couldn't believe this. We had a senior vice president of a big bank, had his assistant call me, asking why he didn't get a $1 million bill and his friends did. And I'm thinking, it was fake money to begin with, and he runs the bank, and here he's calling me. But anyway, the bank deposit bag was something like, this is like money in the bank, okay? So that's that slogan. Silver platters. I'm sending you an invitation on a silver platter, okay? Each of these things are probably a couple bucks or depending. But here's the thing. If you're calling the CEO, by the way, this is when I used it. When I'm going after the big guns that I know are busy to get into, I would at least say, I'm the person who sent the letter with the coconut. Do you know if Mr. or Mrs. Executive received it? Yes. Now I'm starting to build a relationship with the executive assistant, because normally those people get 150 voicemails a day, and I want to break through the clutter. This breaks through the clutter. This is something very easy to do. How many of you are with your prospects, you see them in the news? So send them a little note. Saw you in the news, congratulations. Does this apply to any of you? Could you leverage this simple little idea? The power of appreciation. So this is a note that we send to executive assistants. It says, Message Taker Hall of Fame, thank you for all your help whenever I call. I just want to acknowledge the administrative assistant or executive assistant, because at the end of the day, they are the gatekeeper. They make the decisions on who gets through to their boss, okay? By the way, I'll give you another secret, because it's not in this deck. The power of a Starbucks gift certificate blows me away. I'll send a note, a card, with a little Starbucks card. We do this all the time. It blows me away when the assistant is like overly ecstatic over a $5 Starbucks card, okay? How many, let's see, you were saying $40 million for you in business, or $8 million a year. I heard some very large numbers. So some of you that know these perfect clients, ask yourself, how much time, effort, energy, and resources are you really going after staying in touch if it's really worth that much money? Or do you really give up after a couple calls and a couple emails? Or if it's really worth that kind of coin to you, are you going to step up your game so you can easily get in? We could lay out strategies, and on Saturday morning, be here on time, because I will lay out individual strategies for each one of you, or as many as we can, on how you can connect with the perfect clients in a very rapid-fire way. Here, something simple. Send one unexpected card a day to people in your network. Just tell them how much you appreciate them or the difference that they've made. It really goes a long way. Okay, so I want you to share with a partner right now, just real fast, give one idea that you've used in the past or you've heard of someone else has used successfully that you might want to use or share with someone else. So an outside-the-box idea that's worked. Okay? So just share with your partner for about a minute each, or 30 seconds, because it shouldn't take that long to share a simple idea.